Good evening, Tottenham fans. With the emergence of Archie Gray in midfield, Bergville coming through very, very nicely. You've got Matisse, Tell, and Odegaard trying to fight for places in the team. I thought to myself, if we had every single player back in the side, free from injury, we had a week off. There was no, there was no game in between. We had a week to prepare for this game. It was a cup final, and you had to pick your best 11. We had everybody available. Now, I understand people say this is a squad game and it's great to have a squad, but I'm saying if you had a cup final with all the players having the same amount of rest and you had to pick 11, what would be your best 11 for Tottenham Hotspur? Now, so that includes people like James Maddison, Kulusevski, Solanke, Takai, Dragushin. It includes everybody. So I'm going to show you a couple of lineups that I would go for. There's a couple of mainstays in there like Romero and Van der Ven, because I don't think any of our other defenders are on the level of them two. There's another mainstay is probably Kudus, because Kudus is probably the best right winger we have. Actually, he is the best right winger we have. But within all the other players, you could probably pick and choose different players in different positions depending on how we go. So the four main, let me just show you the first one. Let me just get myself out of the way quickly. So the first lineup I would go for is Vicario in goal. And Vicario, sorry, is another mainstay that I forgot to talk about, because I like Kingsky a lot, but I just think Vicario at the moment is our number one choice, and I don't think that's too debatable. If you would like to put Kingsky in your goal instead of Vicario, then let me know in the comments. So my first lineup would be Vicario, Porro as right back, Romero and Van der Ven. It's always going to be them on every lineup, so just so you know. And your doggy at left back. Paulinho and Archie Gray in the midfield, with Kulusevski in the 10, Kudos on the right, Simmons on the left, and Mawani up top. Now look at that front four. That looks absolutely sensational. It really does. It looks like a front four that could cause any defense problem. So that looks like a really decent lineup to me. The reason why I put Archie Gray with Paulinho, because Archie Gray likes to get his foot in just as much as Paulinho does. It would be very solid in that midfield, especially with Kulusevski's work rate in the middle as well. He loves to win the ball back too. So it would be pretty solid in that midfield, but it would also have forward-thinking players like Kulusevski and Gray. Paulinho would just marshal the back four and in front of the back four. So for me, that would be decent, but that means you're putting Simmons out on the left-hand side. So I really do think he's better in the 10. But if you wanted to play that front four, you'd probably have to go with that front four or put Kulusevski on the left and Simmons in the 10. Now, that's a decent 11, but is that our best 11? Let me show option number 2. And by the way, if you don't agree with any of these 11s, it's fine. You can give me your best 11, but these are just my 4 best 11s. So again, Vicario and goal, Van der Ven, Romero. We won't go through that. I told you why they're always going to be in it. But this time we've got Jed Spence at right back and your doggy at left back. Now, a lot of Tottenham fans have said to me they prefer Jed Spence over Porro because of his defensive capabilities. And plus, he can attack just as well as Porro can. The difference with Porro is very good at set pieces, very good at the long balls, very good crosser on his day, and even gets in and scores a few goals. So Porro does have some strong attributes too, but some people do prefer Jed Spence. Now, this is the future of our midfield, in my opinion, or the pivot two anyway. Bergvall and Gray, them two in the midfield together, it's going to be something we're going to see a lot of in the next few years, in my opinion. Both players are good on the ball. Both players are good out of possession, good at winning the ball back, full of energy. Both of them are. And they're both forward-thinking players. And that's what we need, I think, in this Tottenham side. We need forward-thinking players, especially if Frank wants to play either a counter-attacking football or precise attacking football. So then going forward, look at this attack. You've got Solanke up top, Maddison just behind him with Kudos and Simmons on the wings. Now, again, Simmons on the wing. Again, I'll put him on there just to fit him in the team, because I think Simmons is going to be an absolutely outstanding player for us. I really do. He's got so many good attributes. I can't believe he's only 22. So he's going to be here for a few years to come. But if you look at that lineup, Kudos on the right, Maddison in the 10, Simmons on the left, and Solanke up top, that's still a very, very good front four. Now, if we had everybody fit, look at the rotations we can do. Because if you quickly look back at number one, we had Kulusevski, Mawani up front, and you look at number two, Maddison and Solanke. Now, that's brilliant rotation. Imagine doing that during a game. So you'd cause teams all sorts of problems. Now, my third choice for best 11 would be this one. And now this time, it'll be Xavi Simmons in the 10. But if you go back to Jed Spence now as left back, and I've even heard some Spurs fans say Jed Spence is better at left back than Udogie. So think of that what you will, and let me know in the comments if you agree. Obviously, the Van de Ven, Romero, Vicario, back three there. And you got Porro back in at right back. Paulinho and Bentancur, a lot of Tottenham fans don't like this, but I do think it can work well against sides that are relentlessly attacking. I think if you had Bentancur and Paulinho in there when you're backs to the wall and you're playing counter-attacking football, I think it does work if you want to play defensively. I think it would be better if we were 1 or 2-0 up and then we wanted to see the game out. I think I'd rather see it then. Then we've got the Kudos on the right again. Simmons in his 10, like I said. But this time I put Mawani on the left-hand side with Richarlison up front. I think that worked really, really well last time we saw that. Richarlison was more in the middle and Mawani was out wide, taking his man on and causing all sorts of problems. So I think I like the look of that lineup too. And again, another rotational change that you've seen, which still looks pretty strong to me. This is probably the weakest midfield I'd say we'd have, not in physicality wise, but I mean like progression wise. I think if we wanted to progress the ball, I think this would probably be the weakest. Now, the fourth choice one I've gone for now is Vicario, Romero, Van de Ven, Porro and Udogie. So that's our usual suspects at the back five. So that looks pretty decent. Then you've got Paulinho and Maddison and Kudos in the front three, in the midfield. So you've got Kudos, he's got an insane amount of work rate, which I think would work well in a number 10 role. And Maddison in the double pivot with Paulinho. Maddison normally, I know people are saying, what, Maddison in the 8? But Maddison normally drops back a hell of a lot to collect the ball and start attacks. And maybe if you just started him there in the first place and just let him progress the ball to people like Kudos, Odegaard, Kulusevski and Mawani, that could probably work too. The only thing is the physicality again in that midfield that might be let down. But Kudos could help him out with that, and so could Paulinho, and give Maddison the chance to just roam and do what he wants, give him the freedom to just move around and do what the hell he wants to do. So I think that midfield could work. I think it'd be pretty strong, pretty decent. You could even swap Kudos for Xavi or Kudos for Kulusevski, or put Kudos on the right and Kulusevski in that 10 instead, swap them two over, put Kulusevski in there because Kulusevski still works just as hard as Kudos does. I've chucked in Odegaard here because I think this is a really talented winger we've got here. He's not at his full capability yet. I still think he's going to come on leaps and bounds. I still think he can go up another couple of levels. But he, for me, on that left-hand side, links up really, really well with Udogie. If you put Xavi in that 10 role as well, he seems to link up well with him. He did really link up well with Jed Spence as well in the last game. I think those two worked really, really well together. And Mawani up top. Mawani, for me, is our best number 9. He's our best forward player. He's electric pace. He's so strong. He can win the ball in the air. You know, his hold-up play is really good. His link-up play is exceptional. So there's so many variations we can do to this best 11. And yes, I know it's a squad game, and yes, I know that you have to rotate, you have to play twice a week if you've got Champions League football, but I think we have got really, really good options once players are fit. We just have a horrible history of injuries at the moment, which really affects every single season. It really does. Like this season, I think Frank's done a really good job rotating this squad and still getting us competing in the Premier League, competing in the Champions League. We went up to ninth in the Champions League at one stage. Don't know where we are now because games were on yesterday, but I think he's doing a good job rotation wise, and he's getting players back now. So we might even see more of Thomas Frank during games now. I think he will be able to change things during games a lot easier now with players coming back than he could do before. I think he was playing in during games, he was still worried about the next game, which was 3 days later. So he still had to think about that whilst making subs. Now we've got a lot of options, especially in midfield. I haven't even mentioned Papa Sarr in any of those lists. So if you think Papa Sarr should be in any of those teams, or Matisse Tell, or anyone else I haven't mentioned going into that first 11, then let me know in the comments section below. But Papa Sarr could easily come in just as much as Bergvall or Gray, as he is also a decent midfielder on his day. So there's so many variations we could do. The squad, all of a sudden, when you're trying to pick your best 11 from everyone available, is not just straightforward. You can't just go, right, that's my best 11 and that's it, because or you're going to have to let me know in the comments whether you think that is easy to do, because I don't think it's as simple as that. I think there's so... I know we're going on, oh, it depends on opposition and all that. I'm just saying our best 11 and stuff the opposition. We are Tottenham, and we're going to play how we want to play. And that's how I picked them in these situations. So you have to let me know in the comments what you think. What is Tottenham's best 11? What is our best midfielder? Who do you think our best front four are? And who is our best back five? Because you've got the options of switching Spence in there as well. Do you like Danso and Dragushin better than Van der Ven and Romero? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Come on, you Spurs.